Go Fast Racing, driver of the...
From last year, so.
Oh, okay. Last year's fire suit, this year's Go Fast number 32 driver.
Yeah, I'm multitasking, so I have the polo, or if we can superimpose stuff, I have the fire suit from last year.
Who's got the first question for Matt?
Oh, look at that.
They're still trying
don't all
to
raise your hands
absorb all
too
that.
quickly.
Here we go.
Zacatan's very front stretch. You've had a few people, looking at this season and looking at Go Fast, and they see some improvements, maybe in store for the team. So throughout this offseason, only has been a little bit, but what do you see when it comes to improvements, maybe compared to BK Racing?
Yeah, in all honesty, I've gotten a lot of mixed reactions for my move, deciding to leave BK Racing and moving on to the opportunity here at Go Fast. But, it's not what everybody, some folks are like, oh, they haven't ran well the past few years, and I got a little backlash from it, and then I also, in some cases, got a lot of support. So I'm looking forward to this year. It's what I've been telling everybody is, we're putting ourselves in a position to overachieve. We have some really, really good people. We have some new cars, and they are completely dedicated to turning that program around and running really competitive this year. So I'm really excited about it because they really have invested a ton into it, and you're nothing without your people around you. And it's going to be funny actually going to Daytona because I'm going to have my familiar ears and my, or familiar sounds in my ear. I'm going to have my crew chief, Gene Need, from last year. He came on in 2015, so he's sticking with me. My spotter, David Pepper. So we've been such a great combination. It's going to be fun to go over there and see what we can make out of it, because I know we're going to be a lot more competitive than maybe some folks would think.
Let's go here with our next question.
Daniel McFadden with NBC Sports. What have the last few months of this offseason been like for you, basically with the open secret that there will be changes to NASCAR's race and points format, and just what is your reaction to the news yesterday?
If I was summing it up in one word, would be just thrilling, because I think it's much needed. Same deal. You're going to get mixed reactions, but it was the coolest part was that it was such a collaborative effort. So I think everybody was pretty much on the same page. So moving in this year, it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be so much fun, and especially from giving my point of view on it, being maybe a smaller team, and looking into this format, it's going to give us some opportunities that maybe we didn't have before. So heck, if some guys are, the guys are racing the end of the segment, and we're like, hey, we can pit, and then when the segment ends, we could stay out and gain a bunch of track position, or if we can put ourselves in positions to do the opposite and have chances to be up front at the end of a segment or stage, I'm pretty excited about that. So much needed, and I'm excited about all the Monster coming in, and it's going to hopefully bring a younger group of fans to the sport. There's a lot of, it's cool to see how everyone's been working together in the direction that NASCAR is going. I'm more excited about it than ever.
Jeff Clough.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm very curious about your new public relations representative. It seems like
a unique
situation. How did this come about?
And Jeff, you always come up with really good questions. So, where's Ryan at? Oh, so Ryan, where are you? I can't see these lights. Oh, there's Ryan.
Yeah.
So Ryan Ellis is my. This has been a joke for years too. Is the funniest part about it. So I've always told Ryan, I'm like, hey, you're one of my best friends. So I hope driving works out for you. We all know how tough of an industry it is, though. I mean, I tell people, me getting here is like winning the lottery 2 times in a row. But I've always said, hey, PR person Ryan, because he always would just do everything for me, and he's so good at working with people and just kind of winging everything. So that joke actually turned into a reality for this year. I'm excited to have Ryan working with me and doing our team's PR for this year. He's going to do a really good job at it. So he's pretty much done his own PR and self-promoted himself for so many years that he's going to be one of the best in the industry.
Let's go back here.
Yeah, I would say I mostly approached him, when we were just kind of casually, well, we joke about it all the time. This has been for years. So the joke just kind of came up. And then when we were chatting about it, he was like, man, I really don't have any racing plans for next year, nothing solid that I feel like would be, a step forward. And then I was like, hey, okay, all joking aside, and it was hard to say it without laughing. I'm like, really, if you would like to do it, I think it would be a perfect fit, and you could help the team and bring a lot to the team. So that's how it worked out.
How do you think your career will advance changing from BK to Go Fast? And how many times have you stopped yourself from writing that T?
Moving into this year, I definitely wouldn't have done it if I didn't feel absolutely positive it was a step forward. So what I saw was an opportunity to go to a team and bring, my ability and also not, I'm nothing without my people, like I said. So bringing myself and my ability, and then more importantly, all the folks, that surround me to turn this team around. So if we can all go in there and take a team that it wants and showed that they are, told us they are dedicated to running very competitive this year. So if we can go in and take that and run, significantly better than they have and be running really competitive, that I think that's going to reflect on all of us. And it's going to, I don't think there's any better opportunity for the position I'm in.
Right.
Caleb Whistler, Speedway Digest. What potential do you see in yourself and in your team going into 2017?
So it's a lot different going into this year. Every year you feel so much more comfortable. My first year, you walk in and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's Dale Jr. Oh, there's Tony Stewart. There's, all these guys that heck, if I'm being honest, I still have their memorabilia up in my office at home. So I just felt like a fan, and you're so kind of nervous. Now going into my third season, you're just more comfortable and you're able to focus on putting every bit of your race together and perfecting your pit stops and little things. So confidence is everything. So when you go into a season so confident and having a working relationship with, some of the guys on my team and my crew chief and my spotter, you go in there with that confidence, and that's, that makes a huge difference.
Chase Well.
Chase Wilhelm, FoxSports.com. Speaking of your new PR guy, Mr. Ellis over there, he left his dog at your house for a day, and the dog got pink eye. What's the deal there?
Yeah, man, I'm apparently a bad dog sitter. I don't know what happened, because all we did was nap together all day. I did notice something on his eye, and I texted him and told him right away. I was like, hey, I noticed something on his eye, so it wasn't me. I'm not trying to hurt your dog. So Andy is my napping partner, though.
Chris.
Chris Knight, catchfence.com. Matt, I was just wondering if you could talk about your team owner, Archie St. Hilaire. He's really trying to make an emphasis and be more of a standing figure in the sport. What is it that attracted you to Go Fast, and what can you say about Archie?
Man, Archie, I've had the privilege of knowing actually for years, from when he was in the Xfinity Series and, now being in the Cup Series for multiple years. Archie is one of the most honest guys I know, and he keeps his word on everything he says, and I've known that characteristic about him. And he says, it comes from his French heritage. He is really a man of his word. So when he told me, when I was having those discussions with him, and he told me, hey, we need to run competitively, this is what we got, is what we're looking at. We would, like to have the combination of you and Gene, things like that. I knew what he says he means, so you can take it to the bank. So that's what I was really excited about, was knowing that, he was truly dedicated to running competitively. So that's, what enticed us to come in there and talk and come up with a game plan. And it all came together really quick, actually. I've never had a ride come together this fast in my life. It was, I think it really came together in darn near a week.
About one more question for him. Lewis.
Louis Frank of Reuters. Earlier, Kurt Busch said he was used to many laps of preseason testing. The big teams are able to use simulations, millions of dollars, et cetera, et cetera. What do you guys do in the off season to compensate for some rules changes? You have a team change. What do you do?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot different for us, versus some of the bigger teams having, I'm guesstimating, let's call it 400 employees or so. I think we have roughly 15. So it's definitely a smaller group. It's cool because we have 15 really good guys, so it makes a big difference. But yeah, as far as that stuff, they will be running a lot of simulation, have access to tools that we couldn't fathom having. We're doing it more of an old school way. But, my crew chief, Gene, says, while they're using all the simulation, we're using the common sense theory. But we do have to go on some older school principles. I mean, we have some of that stuff, a little bit of the basic simulation and things, so we know we'll be, in the ballpark, obviously. So, I mean, they still do a great job at that. But we were discussing that the other day, actually. It's a good question. And we're going to be using some of the first couple of races as that's it's going to be a little bit of a test for us. We're going to go to, let's say, Atlanta, figure out, okay, with this aero package, this is, we're going to change stuff and be like, this is the attitude or platform that it likes, and we're going to have stuff to figure out where other teams may, be quite a few steps ahead of us there. But we always do a good job in working together and doing it the old-fashioned way.
We have to keep on Ryan's schedule. Your time with us is done, and we got to keep you moving
Doing his
along.
job.
Thank you,
Cool.
Matt DiBenedetto.
Thanks, guys.